Board of Abatement to order. Does anybody have any changes, additions, or removals to our agenda they'd like to bring up?
Nope.
If not, we have two tax abatement hearings. We'll start with the hearing for Mark and Christine Falango. Now, they're not here.
No, they're not.
All right, so we'll skip through the oath part. Are there any witnesses to this?
Would I be a witness?
So,
Are
yes.
you a witness?
So I would technically be the witness, yes.
Then let me ask you, under the pains and penalties of perjury, do you solemnly swear that the evidence you give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Which property is this?
Do any board members have any conflicts of interest or ex parte communication that they have to report?
Nope.
And the applicant did receive,
Yes.
they received the
Yep.
rules of procedure. And the applicant isn't here, so what do we have to speak for the applicant as far as what category they're making the request under?
So I will disclose for both of these, but this one, because this is what we're hearing right now. In sending a tax bill on one of these properties, I thought that the tax value assessment was high, and I looked back because I recognized I recognized with the two properties that the lister card and the tax bill did not match.
Okay.
That the listers had made changes on the lister card, but it was not reflective of the tax bill, so the residents were paying full value.
And this is the house that suffered fire damage?
Yes, but they had come for an abatement in 2023 from the flood. And
Okay.
adjustments had been made for 2023, and then adjustments were made in 2024. I spoke with the Falangos because the standard process is that a resident can come and ask for an abatement form and ask us to meet and abate their taxes. Because I felt this was an ethical thing, I reached out to them and let them be aware and sent them the application and asked them to complete it. It was indicated that it was a lister error, so that was what was selected on their application.
Okay.
So 24 VSA 1535A4. So there is a taxes in which there is a mistake of the listers. And they will not be here tonight, of course, and they understood.
Is this a second home for them then?
It is, yes.
So, that would be the reason. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
So this was a lister error, so,
Wait a minute, Justice has his hand
oh, I'm
up.
sorry.
Justice.
Which property is this? I know the two properties
They're in order.
side by side.
Falango, 169 Scott
That doesn't
Terrace.
tell me nothing. Is it the left-hand one or the right-hand one? The one that was under construction or the one?
Well, they both were under construction. It was not the one that was raised. It was
Okay,
the
it was
small
the
one
one,
next to
okay.
that.
The one on the left, looking at it across the lake. Okay.
Yes.
Now I know. Thank you.
Karen?
So what are they asking for? I mean, if so, can't this just be settled with the listers?
No, because we're going back in time now, lister grievance has expired.
Right,
So this was a bill that went out post grievance.
okay,
When your abstract was, after your final grant list was filed.
right.
So the only way to go back in time now to make this correction on the tax deal is through abatement.
Okay, so what are they asking for dollar-wise?
They want,
there's a
they want to
page.
be refunded what they were overcharged.
Okay, so what was that dollar amount?
So the tax bill's reflecting an assessed value of $216,390.
Yep, I see that.
And the lister's card, after corrections are made, is reflecting a value of $191.30.
Okay.
So that change was made on the valuation side, and then was never then transferred to billing. So they
Okay.
made the change where we valued property in real estate,
Okay.
but then it never made it to the bill. The bill reflected the prior year's value still. So
Okay.
they're asking for the tax yield of the difference. So instead of being taxed on $216,390, being taxed on $191,030.
Okay.
Do we know how that happened? How it didn't get transferred over?
Sure, so I can take a pretty good stab at it. So from what I've learned just in my short time of kind of coming on board here, is that typically the CAMA software, computer assisted mass appraisal software, is where you value everything. Those values are supposed to be exported in an extract to billing every year. So you're extracting all of your values every year to billing, so that way everything gets there. What was being done here was a manual transfer. So what they would do on one side, they would then manually go in and do on the other, as opposed to doing that electric transfer where we're making sure every new value is now being moved to billing. So this, to me, looks like they did it on one side, the phone could have rang, the day could have ended, and it never made it to the bill.
And is there some mechanism that won't allow this to happen again?
At this point, where we are with the current system, we're gonna maintain that same practice, because at this point, there are likely a lot of these changes that haven't made it to billing.
Yeah.
And so if we were to do an extract now, I'm afraid that we'll be sending out many change of appraisal notices, of which I have no justification or really knowledge as to why they would have changed. So until we do the reappraisal, we are gonna continue the manual entry on either side, because that is the safest at this point, and just being sure that we are changing everything that we're going out looking at for this year.
How do you do that? Do you have to go through a list and check each individual one?
Yep,
Wow.
yep, so basically we'll have one program up on one side, make the
Yep.
changes, and then have the other program up on another screen or another side, and manually put those values so that they reflect on the tax bill. There is an electronic way of doing that. Like I said, I feel like there's too many unknowns right now to do that. It could kind of blow up your grand list.
So you'll get it under control at some point then?
When we do the reappraisal for 2027, we're basically gonna be stripping out the old database, nuts and bolts, doing a manual conversion, and then all the values will be anew for 2027. Top
So,
down, and then we'll be able to do that electronic transfer, because
Oh, okay.
we know all the values are legitimately changing for the purpose of reappraisal.
Okay. Okay, are there any other questions
So
or
I
comments?
yes,
Go ahead.
something, I want to know the dollar amount, I'm reading all this.
It's written right there.
$737.22.
Okay, so that's what the difference,
Based on, yes.
based on all these numbers I'm just reading.
Yeah, based on what
Okay,
they
that's-
paid and what the levy
Okay,
paid.
that's what I wanted to know at the bottom dollar. Well, that's what I thought it was. I just wanted
That's
to
it.
clarify in my little brain, because there's tons of numbers.
I know.
I was reading what they went to. Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, if we're comfortable with that one, we will go on to the next and say this.
Right, for decision making.
And do both of them in executive session.
Thank you for that
You
explanation.
could make a motion now to then close this hearing and open the new one.
Yes,
So the board, if it wishes, to make a motion at this point to abate the Venango's taxes, $737.22.
well, we typically go into an executive session to
Decision
make
making.
those decisions.
Okay,
Those decisions that we make
So,
without.
Do we need to in those cases? It's a billing year? I don't know, just asking a question.
yeah, I don't know, I think probably we'll just stick to the
Normal
method
procedure.
that works, yeah. So, we'll close the hearing, make a motion to close the hearing for, Mark and Christine Falango. Would somebody do that, please?
I make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. So we will open the hearing for Joshua Road, 167 Scott Terrace, parcel ID 000247. He's not here. Is there somebody that will speak
I
for
can,
them, for him?
this is the same
And
situation.
you're here as a witness again.
Yep, I can kind of give you the same rundown.
Same.
Okay, we'll let you get away with the one swearing in.
Oops.
So, same situation. Value was adjusted in 2024. It looks like the total loss of the structure due to fire, and also a reduction to the land value. It looks like there was a minus 10% added against the water site value. I think that was also around the same time as the flood for the bystanders' decision made for muddy waters. So none of those updated values made it to billing. Tax bill reflects a full taxable value, $328,560. Lister card, CAMA card is showing a value of $239,000.
So the difference there is 2,603 and 61 cents.
Yep.
On the taxable.
Any questions at all or comments from the board?
It's the same situation, so.
Then we're gonna make if somebody will make a motion to close this hearing
Make a
for
motion.
Joshua Rourke.
Yep.
Second?
Second.
Done, okay. Now we'll go into executive session